it's Brian Mudd. This is my cheat sheet for the last day of May. It is the 31st. Okay, so higher minimum wage. Does it mean higher unemployment? The answer, unequivocally, is yes. Researchers from all around the country, people who studied this at the university level for higher education facilities, literally across the country, found that in every situation, in every locale in this country, as minimum wage increases, unemployment rates go higher. The difference, in some places, it was as little as 1%, but it was always a 1% higher unemployment rate for those that are looking for entry-level work, all the way up to 8% higher unemployment in certain parts, where you have a lot of younger people, oftentimes in college towns, where they're looking for that entry-level work, either in college or coming out of it. So this leads to the question. The minimum wage, as more and more states continue to press in raising it, and even at the federal level, there are calls to continue to increase it. Is it a good idea? You know, there's a balance for everything in life. I will tell you, as a former business owner who had the majority of his employees on minimum wage, that they could earn tips, that without question, as you raise the cost of operating your business, it's something that has to go. It's a given. A lot of people don't realize that the average cost of having an employee is 33% more than the base salary to begin with on average. So you got to factor that in. But the other thing is, as unemployment raises, let's say you have a bunch of people that are on minimum wage, and then the government automatically gives all of your people a raise. What just happened? Did your sales increase for that day? Did anything to increase your business happen? No, your cost of doing business just went higher. So as this continues to be a further debate, I encourage you, I have source material that's on my physical cheat sheet. A lot of people go, oh yeah, evil businesses, just, they need to pay more money. Well, I'll ask you this. As we see the unemployment rate for those under the age of 30 continue to be above 20%, would somebody rather work for a quarter less per hour and have a job? Or would we rather have unemployment rates greater than 20% for younger people? I think that question answers itself. All right, shorter duration mortgages. This is something that is increasingly a popular idea. In fact, we set an all-time record last month. Turns out that last month, 31%, nearly 1 in 3 of all mortgages originated were short duration. That means 20 years or less, with 15 being the most common of the shorter duration loans. Now, is this necessarily a good idea? By the numbers, the average mortgage going out the door on a 30-year fix last month, 3.94%. We're seeing it for around just under 3.2% on the shorter duration loan. So there is a bit of a difference there. I'm one who likes financial flexibility, though. Here's what I recommend doing. If you do have the financial wherewithal to be able to make those payments on the shorter duration, even if you lost your job or something went wrong, okay, go ahead and do it. Take advantage of the lower interest rate. But otherwise, even if you want to pay your mortgage off, just make sure you end up with a 30-year fixed mortgage that has no prepayment penalty. Get the greater flexibility so that if a negative life circumstance happens, you don't have a mortgage payment that's as large that you have to hit every month. And then when you do have extra money, just pay towards the mortgage. You'll end up getting to where you're wanting to go anyway by having a shorter duration on your mortgage, but you have more financial flexibility in case things go wrong. I always want to play the risk-reward game here, and the risk of you not being able to make your monthly mortgage payment is always going to cause me to want you to take on a little more flexibility so that in the worst-case scenario, you don't lose your home. All right, real quick, couple quick hitters here. Is Mark Zuckerberg the next coming of Steve Jobs? Just an observation on my part, and I'm not talking about the Steve Jobs near the end here. I'm talking about the pre-I anything days, the second coming of Steve Jobs at Apple. Remember Steve Jobs, he founded Apple, right? I mean, come on. How can you kick the guy out of his company? Remember, he was. At the end of the 80s, his own board of directors kicked him out. And part of the reason was he was running Apple like it wasn't a publicly traded company, but it was. You have to answer to shareholders. You have to talk to people. Well, Mark Zuckerberg is already under heat in a big way. Now, number one, his company has already lost nearly a third of all of its implied value, actually a little bit more than that at this point. And he's still over in Europe or something doing the honeymoon thing. He's not talking to shareholders at all. In fact, you might as well not even exist if you own shares of Facebook to him right now. That's not the way a leader of one of the largest tech companies in the world acts or responds. So there is some concern that already Mark Zuckerberg might not be the right guy to be the guy at Facebook. We're not even 2 weeks into this. And Steve Jobs, his complete collection of video from the All Things Digital conference. We've got 8 years worth of material. It's available. It's the largest video collection of him talking about his products, answering questions. It's available free on iTunes. That's the cheat sheet for today. Enjoy yours. See you tomorrow.